Welcome to our final Elevate session of the 25-26 series. We are so excited to have you here. Like I said earlier, my name is Lauren Hanahan. I am one of the arts specialists for Missouri Alliance for Arts Education, and I'm so excited to have our January presenter. We rescheduled NaTasha O'Brien. I'm so eager to hear what she has to say with us today. But before we get there, we have a couple different activities to do, warm-up things, and a few little notes to share. So let's just dive right in. Today's presentation is recorded, so if you do not wish to be recorded, you can turn off your camera, but we do encourage you to stay active and live with us so that we can all kind of be present in this space together. For this particular session, we would love for you to keep your microphone unmuted and speak out and participate. But if you are uncomfortable with that and you feel more safe in the chat, we encourage you to use the chat, and I will share those out for our guests today. And as we get started, I would love for you to just drop a note in the chat or share out what your grade level is or your area of expertise. And actually, since we have such a small group, let's actually change that up a little bit today. Why don't we just share out? Go ahead and unmute. And if you're feeling comfortable and safe in the space, go ahead and tell us your name, maybe what your area of expertise is or grade level that you teach, and then something that might have inspired you to be here today.
Hi, my name is Alexa. I know Tash from doing theater, and I am actually a library director with my community. And, you know, I try and reach the kids and the community where they're at as best I can.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Bonnie, and I met NaTasha years ago in Boston when she was attending Lesley University. I'm a program manager for Blind Industries and Services in Maryland, and we have a residential program. So I work with a lot of blind students who are looking for employment, going to school, and also have a keen interest in many, many professions. And art is one of them.
Thanks for sharing.
Hi, I'm Jess. I'm a first grade teacher at an arts integrated school and just looking for a little inspiration to get through these last few weeks of school.
I'm Rachel Jameson, and I am a teaching artist as well as a theater teacher and director in the Springfield area.
Hi, Tom. Welcome in. We're just kind of doing a quick verbal welcome today instead of in the chat. So if you want to jump right in and tell us your name.
The question is, who am I?
Yeah, who are you?
I'm Tom Tobias. I'm the vice chair for Missouri Alliance for Arts Education.
Is there anything that inspired you to be here today, Tom?
What's that?
Is there anything that inspired you to be here today?
What inspired me to come today is recently these meetings have become very compelling, and you know, the theme seems to always be arts integration, and I have a passion for seeing that grow and flourish in Missouri if it can. It encounters lots of obstacles, but I think this is a way in.
Great, thanks for sharing. Before we move on, is there anybody else that would like to say hello?
Hi, I'm Nikki Canoe. I'm a student at Blind Industries and Services of Maryland, like Bonnie said earlier.
Great, welcome.
I guess that leads me, right?
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's so nice to see a couple of faces that I recognize and haven't seen in a while. Or actually, I can't see you, but I know who you are. So my name is NaTasha O'Brien, and I'm excited to be able to chat with you guys a little bit tonight about blindness and the art and meeting people where they are.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. So here's just a quick snapshot of our kind of goal and mission. For those of you that have been with us before, you have seen this. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, thank you for coming. Our goal and mission is to elevate teaching and learning for all students through equipping art-centered learning, empowering vision for arts education, amplifying artistic teaching practices, and engaging arts education opportunities for all students. And so we're excited to hear how we can continue to do that with today's work as well. So please help me welcome NaTasha O'Brien. She is a blind and low vision artist, educator, and speaker who champions inclusion in the arts. She is a professor of theater and program director at Missouri Southern State University, where she directs productions, develops innovative curricula, and builds bridges between students and communities. An actor, playwright, musician, and advocate for the intersection of arts and agriculture, NaTasha uses her authentic voice to inspire resilience, cultural pride, and meaningful connection through creativity. So as an example of how a teaching artist can present their work in this environment, NaTasha has pre-recorded her presentation. And so I'm gonna figure out this audio so that we can watch and take notes during her presentation, and then we have NaTasha here with us so that we can ask questions and talk with her about this experience afterwards.
So when you heard, we're going to be hearing today from a blind artist. You expected the dark shades and the white cane. And while this version of blindness is absolutely valid, blindness is more than a look. Blindness is a spectrum. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is NaTasha O'Brien, and I'm delighted to be here with you today to share a little bit about my vision, my experience as a low vision artist. Helen Keller said the only thing worse than blindness is having sight, but no vision. What if I told you that we have a misconception of both sight and vision? I am an artist. I am a low vision artist. I am a Latina artist. I am a musician, an actor, a mother, an advocate, an ally. I am not merely blind. And this is where we get off track often. We label somebody as their disability rather than accepting that their disability is strictly part of who they are. I do not live at the intersection of limitation, but rather at the intersection of perspective and opportunity. I've often been asked, when did you know you were different? And the truth is, I didn't. As a young person, I knew that I had to try and do things in a different way in order to achieve a similar or exact goal, but it never occurred to me that people were perceiving me differently. It never occurred to me that when people saw me, they saw a blind person. Because I didn't see myself as a blind person. I saw myself as somebody who was achieving the same things, or at least trying really hard as my peers. My parents were very supportive parents. They encouraged me. In fact, they required me to try the things that sighted children were doing. If my peers were doing it and I seemed even the slightest bit interested, my parents said, do it. One summer, I played t-ball. And I loved it. It was wonderful, not because I was an exceptionally gifted athlete, athlete, but because there were lots and lots of dandelions out in the outfield, and I really liked the dandelions. And so the following summer, I played t-ball again. And the next year, I wanted to play, but I'd aged out. So my parents got together with the coaches and the league in our little town, and they agreed that I could move up and I could hit off the tee, while others couldn't. The town was in agreement, and I was so excited until the first game. I stepped up to the tee. I got in my stance. I'm not an athlete, you can tell. And the curse words started coming. And the angry shouts of parents. Mind you, I'm 6 or 7 at this time. She's not blind. She's faking it. You're cheating. I cried. I cried through my little pink helmet, and I wanted to quit. And I sat in the dugout where these parents and the coaches and my parents fought and argued. My mom told me we could leave. She's never told me I could just leave, something like that. And I couldn't do it. Something inside me would not let them win. And so while I couldn't hit off the tee that game because it wasn't permitted, I was the designated runner. So I ran and I ran and I ran and I realized I don't like running. So I moved on from t-ball. But my parents and my educators and our town realized then that I didn't know I was different until somebody had to go and tell me. Fast forward to fall, and after this, my mother had written a verbose letter to the editor, and we were considering what are some options, what are some ways that we can prevent NaTasha from having to experience this. I say we, I was not, they were. And it was proposed that we go to the School for the Blind and see if perhaps that's a better fit. I'd be able to spend my days with people who were like me, learning how to navigate this world that was not made for us. My first and second grade teachers accompanied my parents and myself to St. Louis. And please hear me out. I believe that these institutions are very important and very good for a lot of people. But after a very short amount of time at the St. Louis School for the Blind, my parents and my teachers were very, very, very aware that this school was not going to be a place where I could thrive. NaTasha's spirit, NaTasha's presence, NaTasha's desire to be part of the world and to make her way, her own way, is too big. Living at this school and being put in this container will stifle her. That's not to say that the practices and techniques at that school will stifle everybody. It just wasn't a good fit for me. So we went back to the drawing board. So like I mentioned, I didn't know I was different until the world told me I was different. And then I began to see it. I used to write, back when we didn't have computers to do all of our work on, or tablets, I wrote using a contraption called a 2020 pin. And that is nothing more than a glorified Sharpie. And because my vision is so poor, I used to have to get so close to the paper to write my lovely stories or do my math problems in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. And because my face was so close to the paper, my nose drug along the black that I'd been writing in. And so I walked around with opposite of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with black on my nose. And nobody told me. I just got to be the different kid, the blind kid, bless her heart. At recess, I had to wear a welding helmet. I'm not kidding, a welding helmet, face like stormtrooper looking thing, buckled at the back. Because they were afraid that a stick might get in my eye or that the sun would damage the vision that I have. Kids threw rocks at me. I didn't think they were teasing me. I thought we were playing a game and I was the monster, right? The monster in the welding helmet? No, they were teasing me. I didn't know until the world told me. We finally got to downgrade. We downsized from the welding helmet to shop safety glasses. That was a great look. I didn't know, but the world knew that I was different. My educators, my parents, they tried very hard to help me find a place. It was the 90s. I was the first low vision student to come through the school system, and I'm not faulting the school system because I credit them to my successes. But it was an experiment. Flash forward to high school. I was beginning to realize just how different I was. Because my friends were hitting milestones, getting jobs, getting driver's license, earning letters on their basketball letter jacket. I wasn't doing those things. In fact, sometimes I was hiding in the bathroom during lunch period because I couldn't see where to go. Don't worry, I didn't eat in the bathroom. Gross. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. Maya Angelou. I was starting to understand an attitude of defeat. Be small. Don't be too much. Don't take up too much space. You are the blind kid. Stay in the flow. Move with the traffic. Keep your head down so nobody can look at you and look you in the eyes and realize that you can't look back at them into the eyes. I became defeated. And I encased myself in a bubble. And I was nice and safe in that quiet bubble without friends and without causing disturbance or asking for help or asking to be asking for changes, right? Because that would be too much. That would show the world that, yes, I am different. You're right, world. And I was happy in my bubble. Until something terrible happened. I got my schedule, and I had been enrolled in Drama 1. No, please God, no, get me out of there. So I went home and I told my mom, you've got to get me out of this class. I cannot do this. I don't want anything to do with Drama 1 or drama anything, no. I said, Mom, I want you to homeschool me. No. So I called my dad's sister because my dad had passed away, and my dad's sister used to care for me, and I spent time with her on the ranch in the summers, and I said, please, let me come down there and live on the ranch, and let me go to your tiny school, and I'll be happy, and I'll be quiet, and I'll make lunch and keep the books every day. Please, just don't make me go to the school. Don't make me do Drama 1. They could not be persuaded. So I attended class, and I knew it was going to be terrible. And one day, the teacher puts on a film, a silent film. Understand that a silent movie for a low vision or blind person is not the chosen form of entertainment or education. But I didn't say anything, right? Because I was still defeated, living in my bubble, my safe, quiet, don't rock the boat bubble. And after the film, surprise, surprise, pop quiz, I'm in trouble. So I had to go tell Mr. Rowe, God rest his soul, sir, this is the situation. And the man starts belly laughing, roaring with laughter. I felt dumb. I felt ridiculous. And he loved to tell this story. I heard him tell it years after I graduated. And he says, don't worry about the quiz, but I'm now going to talk with the class. Okay. And so he goes and proceeds to tell this class of people who know me as nothing other than the blind girl. And he says, and she stayed quiet for the benefit of the class. Here I am thinking, oh, I won. I was good. I was quiet for the benefit of the class. And he turns and looked at me pointedly and says, don't ever do that again. You have to advocate for yourself. You have to be the one who stands up and uses your voice and tells us what you need. Because we don't know unless you talk with us. I will ask you questions, but you have to be the one that prompts me and makes me realize that it's not a blanket activity, that what is good for one is not always good for all. So I learned something that day, and then 2 weeks later, I learned something else. I'd been cast in the play Blue Denim. Now, I don't remember anything about this play other than I didn't want to do it. I had no desire to be on stage in front of people. I didn't want to talk. I didn't like standing up to say the Pledge of Allegiance because it called too much attention to me. But being the type A and straight A person that I am, I did what I was supposed to. And Mr. Rowe treated me like everyone else. The only thing he said, and he said it to the entire class, there's a lip on the edge of the stage. When you feel yourself near it, make sure you step back, because if you step over that lip, you're going to tumble 3 feet to the floor, and it won't be pleasant. My peers didn't treat me any differently. They made modifications if I asked, and I had to ask because we couldn't be working up on the stage and have a faux pas. So I had to communicate about it ahead of time. I stepped onto the stage for the first time. I stepped into confidence. I learned to walk upright in a body that was not broken. Yes, it was different. It was made differently. And I spoke with confidence, and I moved with confidence, and eventually I began to sing with confidence. And that was the foundation. That was the root that opened doors to my success. It changed the trajectory of my life. That little piece of paper that said drama 1, that I thought was going to be the end, right? As every 13-year-old person does. It's over for me. So dramatic. I should have known then. I was perfect for the stage. So stepping onto the stage and learning how to use my voice and to bring a character to life sparked my desire to live and to write my own story and bring my character to life and share my person with the world. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this quote up here on the screen says, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." James Baldwin. I had to memorize that because I can't read this screen. And if I did, you would think I was going up to try and, I don't know, get in the screen, because I'd have to get so close. This is something that I've had to grow to accept as an artist, memorizing lines, cold reads, auditions. It's terrible. It's so hard, not memorizing lines. We all have to do that. But memorizing things, because I can't read the teleprompter. I cannot read note cards. If I got up here with the note cards or even an iPad, I'd be like this, trying to read it. So we can't change it until it's faced. And that Drama 1 classroom gave me the courage to decide I was going to change from merely existing and to start living. By the time I was 17, I was working in Nashville. I was following my dreams of pursuing scholarship and academics in the arts, music and theater. Music is my first love. It is the heartbeat that propels me forward, and I never would have had the courage to explore it if I hadn't stepped onto that stage in Drama 1. It changed my perspective, and I am now able to advocate for other artists. I don't want to speak for other artists. What I want to do is share my lived experience so that we can open a dialogue about how we make the arts accessible. And we do that through communication. And we do that by being aware of intent and impact. I know those are buzzwords. I wish that they weren't, because I think we desensitize ourselves to language. But intent versus impact is so important when we are considering the arts and making them equitable and inclusive. So how? How do we do these things? How do we align our intention with the impact that it has on our artists? We communicate. And I'll tell you what I tell my students all the time acting when I'm coaching them. Communication is more about active listening and awareness than it is talking. Spend some time watching the body language of artists that you're working with. And I'm specifically talking about a population that is built differently, right? I don't love that word disabled. I think that we're built differently, because to disable means to take away my ability, and I will tell you I won't have that. So watching how your artist who's built differently moves through the space, what do they need? Do they need a touch point? Do they need something on the ground so they know when to stop? Do they need verbal cues? I was going through TSA this weekend, and I was standing there waiting, and I said, I'm low vision, I need a verbal cue to go through the little bing, bing, bing thing, the metal detector, and she wasn't listening to me. And I just stand there, because I know I could probably go, but at this point in my life, I refuse to not be heard, right? And so it's on principle now. And so I'm waiting, and this lady, she goes, you can go. I said, thank you so much. I'm low vision, I need a verbal cue. Am I good? Is this where I walk through? Oh, yes, right? And then it becomes, oh, gosh, I'm sorry, poor, pitiful you. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Intention versus impact. So how can you be mindful? It starts with watching, communication, right? Watching their body language, watching what they need. Then ask the question. Don't be rude. Don't be inappropriate. But be direct, right? I tell my daughter all the time, I can't help you solve a problem if I don't know there's a problem to solve. Not that being built differently is problematic, but we're living in a world that's not made for us. It's not. Even the buttons on this clicker, I'm like, oh boy, I hope I'm pushing the right button, because I can't just glance down. So ask the questions so that you can help be a problem solver. Do not lower the bar for someone who's built different. Ask them if they feel comfortable and confident. Ask me is what I should say. Don't tell me, I cut you out of this dance number because I didn't want you to fall, so you're going to be over here folding laundry while everybody else is blah, blah, blah. No. Ask me first. I might bring a lot of pizzazz to your dance number. Don't stifle your artist by making assumptions. Because I assure you, it may look differently to you, the way they go about achieving the goal, but we can find our way to achieving the goal. The way I look when I'm using cutting boards and preparing dinner is not going to be the way you look. In fact, I have a friend who, when we are having dinner together, is like, I can't watch you do that, because when I'm cutting a carrot or a piece of celery or a potato, I'm not looking, because I'm doing it by feel. And that really stresses people out. But guess what? The goal was achieved. It was achieved my way. Give your artists the benefit of the doubt. If we need an accommodation, we should tell you. Open the door for the artist. Create an environment that makes the artist feel comfortable talking about the disability or the difference or the need. Because many of us are taught that it's rude to ask or to declare even what you need or what you want. So advocacy is a skill that I think needs a lot of work in populations such as blind, low vision community, and I'm sure in others, because we are not given the liberty. We're told you need to advocate for yourself, but we're not taught the skills. So what we can ask of those who are part of the sighted world or who are facilitating events that we may be engaging is, please open the door, make it feel like I am comfortable and I am welcome, not that I'm an inconvenience. Also, and this is kind of funny, but it's a bit degrading. It's more degrading than it is funny. When I tell people I'm blind, low vision, oh, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. First of all, I'm probably 15 years older than you. Secondly, don't feel sorry for me. Thirdly, I can hear you, and I can understand what you're saying. Please, okay? I know it may even be an automatic response, but the intent is good, right? It's the impact that we want to be aware of. My mind is fully capable. My body is pretty capable. My eyes, not so much, okay? And so the way we respond when we hear that somebody is built differently is very important. Be aware of how you respond. I took my daughter to a piano lesson a couple of years ago with a new teacher for the first time, and we were walking in, and I said, I'm so sorry, we're a few minutes late. I'm low vision, couldn't find the door, and also my driver got a little bit lost. And she goes, you're low vision? What does that mean? I said, well, I'm blind, because that's easier for people, right? Well, you don't look blind? Well, I know what you mean, but think about the impact, right? So communication. The way you communicate, the way you receive what your artist is trying to communicate to you. Be open so that we can in turn be open about our needs and how we can help make the project successful. Whether it is a theatrical ensemble or a runway or working in the studio trying to read music or tablature that we can't see. Okay, the way you communicate is going to impact the way we are able to communicate about our needs and our ability to be part of the whole. I love this quote. I think it's so important as we draw to a conclusion here. We don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. So guys, this is less about the way the disabled artist moves through the world, and more about your and my perception of that. If we can approach things from a different perspective, we allow ourselves to begin experiencing life and connection and relationship and understanding and empathy in a different way. When we open our eyes pun intended, the world becomes a different place. Open your heart and you can experience things in a different way. And you will look at how the artist who is differently built moves through the world in a different way. And it will impact your art. It will impact your classroom. It will impact your coffee date. When we start to think about the way our perspective shapes the way we treat people. Don't lower the bar. Raise it and strive to meet it with your artist who's built differently. Listen to the artist. Ask questions with tact. Build them up. Don't sideline them without knowing. I like to be very mindful and careful because what works for me doesn't work for everyone. All I can do is share my lived experience and encourage you to be curious. It's not bad form to ask, how much can you see? Can you drive? No. Okay? It's not bad to be inquisitive. And in fact, it opens the door for conversation. How long have you been this way? Was it from birth? Is it a genetic thing? Many of us just want the opportunity to help sighted people or people who aren't built like us. We want to help them to understand. Many of us can become key players and have become key players in wonderful organizations. I have had the opportunity to perform on stages globally. I've had the opportunity to sing in studios with people I never even thought I would meet. I've had the opportunity to share my gift and my love for theater and music and communication with students from the age of 7 to the age of 77. Because one teacher didn't lower the bar. One teacher challenged me to step outside of my comfort zone and step into my own spotlight. That teacher and my mother, the warrior, and my supportive family and a handful of friends, those are the people who have helped to build and shape me, who's built differently, helped me to come out of that bubble, that safe, quiet, I don't want to disrupt your world bubble, and helped me to stand on the stage and say, I'm going to disrupt your world. I'm going to shake it up, and I'm going to ask you to be that person for somebody in your world. Be the educator who asks for more. Be the sister who helps with learning how to put on makeup when you can't see it. Be the mother who does not take no for an answer. Be the father who sits and holds his daughter while she cries because they're mean, because the world is mean. Be the person in your classroom, in your theater rehearsal space, in the recording studio. Be the person. Ask for more. Be the hand that extends when somebody knocks over the table or when they wheel into the kitchen table on a scene and spill everything. Be the hand that helps them pick it up, not the hand that makes them feel stupid for trying to be part of a world that wasn't made for them. In conclusion, I'd like to leave you with this quote. There is no greater disability in society than the inability to see a person as more. Robert M. Hensel. That is the thought I'd like to leave you with in closing. Whether the person's disability is invisible or blatantly obvious, or whether there's no disability at all, see them as more. See me as more. See you as more. I'd like to thank you all for your time and attention. I look forward to communicating with you and answering any questions that you might have after the session.
Amazing. Wow. I'm so glad we got the audio for that. That was so powerful, so impactful. I want to open it up for anybody to share comments, questions. NaTasha is with us here, so anything you'd like to share. We've got about 5 more minutes left before we wrap things up.
NaTasha, this is Cynthia Phelps, and I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to present to us. You are so inspiring, and I really appreciate your message. And again, I'm so glad we were able to get you rescheduled. And just thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Cindy. Am I unmuted? I can't see the thing.
You are.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I want to thank the organization for your willingness to work with me and communicate with me throughout the process, because I was really, I thought, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, right? I can't do this because if I have to see the buttons, I'm going to be like this. And I wanted to avoid that. So thank you and Lauren for communicating with me throughout the process and allowing me to make that modification.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
I loved it. It was really, really, really good. I loved it.
Thanks, Fletch. It's good to see you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Breath of fresh air. That was.
That was absolutely amazing. I'm going to have to go and look up all these quotes and put them in my office somewhere.
Bonnie, I wonder if you had anything, because your work is in a residential, right, facility. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm a manager in a small residential facility here in Baltimore, and we have a program where we teach independent living, travel skills, Braille, access technology, and job readiness. And one thing that we're really wanting to add, which you brought up in your presentation, which is so important, I think, for blind people, is kind of with the drama, knowing where you are in space, being able to handle yourself, learn body language, things that sighted people take for granted. So we're hoping to at some point get a confidence instructor who can do some of that things. And I would love to see drama and artistic things added into that.
So that's something that I've been doing, is traveling around and working, because even in that video, right, I noticed things, oh, my head goes up because there's no focal point, right? And so when we start to work on those types of things and working on how is muscle memory, these are the skills that we learn in theater, muscle memory, and how we train our bodies to respond. And it's something that I've had some low vision and blind clients and young people that I work with on how do we move, not passing. We don't want to be passing, right? Because we want to make sure that we're living hand in hand and not trying to hide from the blindness, because I did that for a lot of years, but figuring out how to make ourselves feel comfortable and confident. And if we want to have that body language, that so that it's more sighted, right, and looks more natural in a sighted world. That's a skill that we work on, especially the people who primarily ask about that type of thing are the young ladies in classes, right? How do I do this? So, if you, I think we're friends on social media. So if you want to talk a little bit.
We are.
Yeah, let's do.
Yeah, I will definitely reach out. Absolutely. Right. And this is, again, congratulations on your position. It's at Missouri State. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you. And it's folks like Bonnie who work with young people and help us to kind of jump off that platform, right, and figure things out when we're still kind of grappling, with how do I do this as a blind or low vision person. So thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to say thank you too. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. But yeah, I ride that line of being legally blind, and hearing that often of you don't look blind. So it was nice hearing someone else and relating to that, that similar story. So thank you for, I guess, your testimony and your story. It's really great to hear. Thank you.
Well, thanks for being here. And remember, you don't have to make yourself look any more blind or any less blind for anybody else. I still struggle with that. You know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll just get my cane out because then people won't ask questions. I'll get my cane out if I want to get my cane out. And if I don't, then I won't. And that's a hard thing to try and not fit into somebody else's expectation. But you get to decide.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I really wish that I had heard this a couple years back, because I was non-weight bearing for a little while, and it's not the same in any frame of reference, but I wish that I had heard something similar to this, so that way I wouldn't have been afraid to put myself out there in normal ways, because going from something like that through an accident, and then it feels like society just doesn't want to see you. And that is something that I struggled with a lot. And I wish that I had heard something like this around, like that this was a huge breath of fresh air that was very, 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 it was relatable, understanding, and it just, I'm
glad you could take something away from it. Thank you all for your grace and kindness. I was worried about that. I've not recorded something in quite that fashion before, so thank you.
I would say too, and thank you so much for sharing your words. I think as a general educator, I loved the part that you said where you had a teacher that helped you step out of your comfort zone and into your own spotlight. I think I'll kind of like keep that little quote with me, like as I move through just these last 2 weeks of school, but then also kind of moving into next year and the year after that, just, you know, thinking about each kid and how I can help them step out of their comfort zone and into their own spotlight. I just think that's so empowering, and what a lovely gift. So thank you so much. I would love if anybody wants to stay and chat, but I'm going to share a couple things really quick because I do want to be aware of our time. So I'm going to share one more time. Okay. So if you are need or want a continuing ed certificate for the time you have spent with us today, or if you have come to a couple of our sessions, you can email the real Cynthia Phelps, who has now joined the call. You can email her, and her email's on the screen there for you, and she can send you a certificate to share with your administrators. Move to the next one. We also can now offer graduate credit. So if that is something you are interested in learning more about, you can also email Cynthia about that, and we can find more information on our website for how to get credit. This was our last session for this series of webinars. We will be back next year. Well, next school year, September 21st. So what a great uplifting way to kind of wrap things up. And thank you so much, NaTasha, for that. And we will be back next time with a whole new set of presenters and topics. If there's anybody you know of that you think would be a great presenter, please reach out to either myself or Cynthia. Or if there is a specific topic you are interested in learning more about, also reach out to us. We would love to, hear what thoughts and ideas you guys have. I'm going to drop a survey in the chat for you. If you could just take a quick moment to provide some feedback for us. We are always looking for ways that we can improve. One of them for me will definitely be figuring out sound. Sorry for the beginning part there where I was trying to play music. Thank you all for your grace and patience for that. But the part that we needed sound for worked, and that is the most important. Thank you all for being here. NaTasha, thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing your words with us. If there is anything else,
I'd just like to say really quickly, if we're out of time and there's still people who may have questions or like to do a follow-up, or please, if Lauren, if they've got your contact information and want to email you to get mine, that's perfectly fine.
Sure. We usually send a follow-up email at the end, and we'll link your video if that's okay with you.
Great.
So we'll send out your video, and we'll put your email address so they can reach out to you if that works.
Sure. That's great.
Okay. And so we'll just send all of that out to everybody that came, and the slides from today. So you guys have all of that, and you guys can touch base with NaTasha from there. All right, Cynthia, do you have anything else you want to say as we wrap up?
No, but thank you. And thank you again, NaTasha. Thank you all for being here. And please join us in September. We love the conversation. We love the variety of presenters, and we're just happy to be able to be a platform for diverse voices. So thank you all.
Bye, everybody.